Hey guys, today I'm going to present a slideshow and go over plotting and identifying points on the coordinate grid and the two problems from last Wednesday's worksheet that dealt with interpreting remainders. So I'm going to present my screen right now and go over the slideshow. Feel free to write anything down and have that worksheet up from last week so you have the problems to look at that we're going through. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go over plotting ordered pairs. So we're looking at a coordinate grid. The coordinate grid has 4 quadrants. This is the first quadrant right here. It's the positive and positive side. So this is quadrant number 1. This is quadrant number 2. Bottom left is quadrant number 3. And the bottom right is quadrant number 4. These 2 lines are called axes, and those are what we're going to use to be able to plot ordered pairs. So let's discuss what the 2 axes are first. So the axis that goes right to left is the x-axis. Now you're going to find that the positive numbers will always go to the right, starting from the origin. This is 0, 0. This is the origin. Positive numbers go to the right, and the negative numbers go to the left. So in a number line, the positive numbers will always go to the right and the negative numbers will always go to the left. This is your x-axis. The second one we have is the y-axis. It's the vertical axis that goes up and down. You will notice the positive numbers go up and the negative numbers go down. So when we're looking at this and when we're thinking about ordered pairs always go x-axis first and then y-axis. Your x-axis, again, is showing you if it's going to go right or left, right if it's positive, left if it's negative. And your y-axis is going to tell you if it's going up or down, up if it's positive, down if it's negative. And note that they will always start from the origin. This is your 0, 0. They always start from here. So if I'm going to plot -4, 1, okay, I want you to think about this. You're going to start here at 0, 0, and my first number is -4. Now remember, that is my x, so it has to go right or left from the origin. Since it is a negative, I am going to go to the left 4, to where it is negative, and then I'm going to stop right here. My next number for my y is a 1. That is a positive 1 because there's no sign in front of it. So your next number is either going to go up or down. And since it's positive, it's going to go up 1 because it's a positive 1. So again, I started at the origin. I went left 4 for my -4 on the x. And I went up 1 for my positive 1 on the y. And then I put a point there, and that is plotted. You have plotted the ordered pair. So again, starting at the origin, always do your x-axis first, and then your y-axis second. So let's try some. If I have -2 zeros, and the ones with the zeros like A and D are the ones I always worry about. If they have a 0 in the ordered pair, like A and D, that means it's either going to be on the x-axis or on the y-axis. It's not going to be floating around in one of the quadrants. It's going to be exactly on the line. So if I look at A and it's 2, 0, I'm starting at the origin. My x is a +2. Now remember, this is your x. So I'm going to go 2 to the right because it's positive. And then 0 would be nowhere up or down. So the point is going to be exactly there, 2, 0. So that is where A is. Let's talk about B. I want you to think about where B would be before we plot it. My x is -3 and my y is 4. So if I'm starting at the origin, again, x first, -3 would go to the left. 1, 2, 3. So I'm sitting right here. And then +4 for the y would tell me to go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So my point should be right there. And again, I went 3 to the left and 4 up because of -3 and +4. When we look at C, it says 3, -5. Again, always starting at the origin, always going on the x-axis first. It's a positive 3 this time. So I'm not going to go to the left. I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then my 5 is negative. And my negative on my y-axis goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should show up right there. Now, D are the ones that I really worry about people getting wrong the most. People look at this and they say 0, 6, and they automatically just want to go over here to positive 6. Okay, but you have to remember your first number, this 0, tells you how far you're going right or left. So 0 means we're not going anywhere on my x-axis. The x is 0. The y is positive 6. So nowhere right or left, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up, and that is where the point is. So when you think about it, this was a 6 on the y-axis. It shows you the 6 is the y, so it shows up as a 6 on the y-axis. Over here for the A, it was a 2 on the x-axis, so it did show up on the x-axis. All right, E, -4, -3. Again, starting at the origin, -4 goes left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and -3 goes down, 1, 2, 3, and the ordered pair ends up right there. All right, last one, 1, -4. Think about where you think it should be in your head. Talk about directions that you should go. And then we're starting at the origin. My x is positive 1. So I'm going to go to the right 1. And my y is -4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, down 4. And my ordered pair ends up right there. So this is plotting points. You're going to have 10 of these on your quiz today. I need you to take your time and be careful. I know the problems don't take long, but it's easy if you go too quick to make mistakes. So make sure when you're plotting them, you're taking your time and really thinking about x, positive or negative, and y, positive or negative. All right. The next thing you're going to have to do on your quiz is you're going to have to identify points. Okay, so let's look at this one. This one is on the axis. You guys see that? So since it's on the axis, you know that there's going to be a 0 in one of them. Okay, so again, we start at the origin, and we always talk first about how far it went right or left. And when you're looking at this one, it does not go anywhere right or left because it's right on that axis. So my x is going to be 0. It didn't go anywhere right or left. Now the up and down, the y-axis, it goes down, which means you know it's going to be negative. And when you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 5, so it's -5. So that ordered pair is 0, nowhere right or left, and -5 down. Now, since this one is, the second one is not in a quadrant, it is in a quadrant, it's not on an axis, you know that both of them are going to be numbers. So when I start here at the origin, I'm first looking if I'm going right or left, and in this case, I'm going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I went to the right, 4, it's a positive 4. And then for my y-axis, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Since I went up, it's a positive 5. So the ordered pair would be 4, 5. Okay, why don't you try this one out? Think about what you think the ordered pair would be in your head. All right, so let's do it. Here we're at the origin, 0, 0. When I look right or left, I see that I went left 1 to get there. So that one means it would be -1. And then I'm going 1, 2, 3 down, which means it would be -3. So my ordered pair is -1, -3. All right, I have 3 more. Looking at this first one, again, this is on an axis, so you know one of your numbers is going to be 0. If I start here, and I know I have to give my x value first, starting at the origin, it is going to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives you a -5 for your x-axis. And then you notice it doesn't go anywhere up or down, so my y would be 0. So that ordered pair would be -5, 0. The other two are not on the x or the y-axis. So you know that they're both going to have numbers. Starting at the origin here, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, should give you a -4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, so it should give you a +5. So you went -4, +5, and ended up at that point. And then the last one right here, starting at the origin, I am going to the right. So 1, 2, 3 to the right, that's +3. And then I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So then that means it's -4. So the second part of your quiz today is going to be identifying points. You have to be able to put the X and the Y value in to explain what ordered pair is represented by the dot. It looks just like these examples we did. So please take your time and be careful, making sure your positives and negatives are right and that you're putting the X value first and the Y value second. Okay. Let's look at last week's worksheet from Wednesday. We had these two interpreting remainders questions, and truthfully, the division was fantastic. You guys had the long division right, but what a lot of you weren't doing is actually answering the question. So I want to look at the long division. I'm going to just give it to you and then talk about the different possible answers you can get from it. And then hopefully when you do today's, you'll have less trouble figuring out which answer to give. All right, so there are 156 students in the 5th grade. The cafeteria holds 8 students per table. How many tables are needed for 5th grade lunch? So I'm taking 156 students and dividing it by 8 because there's 8 people per table. And what I get when I do this is 19 4/8. And many of you put in 19 1/2. But when you think about it, you can't have 19 1/2 a table. We don't have half tables. So you have to figure out what all of the numbers that we have here are giving you. So let's talk about each of these answers. First of all, what is the 19? Well, when you look at this division problem, the 19 is the number of full tables with 8 people. And when I go back and look at the question, how many tables are needed for 5th grade? Is it asking how many full tables there are? It's not. So that answer is not the one I'm looking for. Another thing we have down here is this 4. What does that 4 represent? 4 is the number of people left not at a full table. So there's 19 full tables of 8, and then there's 4 more people that are not at a table. Is that the question that they're asking? How many tables are needed for 5th grade? Answer is not 4. So then we have to think about it. I want to know how many tables we need. Well, if I have 19 full tables and I have 4 people left over, that means I need a table for these 4 people. So the answer is not 19 1/2. The answer is 20. 20 is the number of tables you need to seat everyone for 5th grade lunch. Okay, so you need to know for that one that that extra 4 needs to make this 20. Not because half rounds up to 20, but because the question is asking that specific thing. Okay, so then let's look at number 2. Hannah's mom had 250 pictures from their last vacation. When creating her photo book, she was able to put 6 pictures on each page. How many full pages will she have in her photo book? Okay, so we're doing 250 divided by 6. We do 250 divided by 6. You get 41 4/6, and many of you put into Socrative last week, 41 2/3 is the answer. Well, that's not what we're looking for. That's not what the question says. The question says, how many full pages will she have in her photo book? So let's talk about all the different answers we have here. First choice is 41. 41 is the number of full pages with 6 pictures. That's one choice. What does the remainder represent? 4 is the number of pictures left not on a full page. Or we could have 42, which is the number of pages you will need to use all pictures. Okay? So which one of these is actually answering the question? Well, the question says, how many full pages will she have in her photo book? It's not asking how many pages she used or how many are left. It's asking how many full pages. So when you look at this, 41 is the number of full pages with 6 pictures. They don't want to know that there's 4 on the last page. They don't know that there's 42 total pages. This question was looking for how many full pages there were. So again, looking at these two problems, you have to make sure that you're reading what the question is asking for. You're not having any problems dividing. You guys are doing an awesome job dividing. What you need to do is make sure you're answering the actual question. Think about that today when you're doing your worksheet. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Is what the path looks like today, okay? Right now it says Ed Puzzle Video, which is what you're watching right now, about the coordinate grid and interpreting remainders. I'm not going to have a virtual meeting this morning. I will, from 9 to 10, post a Google Meet that will be open only if you have questions. So you're not coming there to socialize and talk. You should only be going on there if you have a specific question about either the coordinate grid, interpreting remainders, or dividing fractions. Okay? It's just a Google Meet. It's kind of like office hours, if you will, that you can come in and pop in and ask a question. I'll just have it open. When you're done with this video, if you're satisfied with your understanding of the coordinate grid, the plotting points quiz is attached here, and the identifying points quiz is attached here. Please make sure you take your time. These are going in as test grades. Okay, they're big, big grades. When you're done taking the coordinate grid quizzes, there is a worksheet for dividing fractions. It's attached right here. It's dividing fractions and mixed numbers. You're going to have a test next Monday on dividing fractions. So you have to make sure you understand everything on this worksheet. The test will be very much like this worksheet. Make sure it's done by 9 tonight. And when you're done, you put your answers into Socrative. And this Socrative is going to be Muskego 7 for Reedy and Muskego 8 for War. Okay? So make sure you show up to the meet up here from 9 to 10 if you have any questions about any of this. Otherwise, good luck. Do well on your quiz. And I will talk to you later. Okay? I'm going to shut down this and have a good day.